live.
All right, great. Call this meeting back to order. Moving on to reports, appointments, directives, and correspondence. Reports, Mr. Carter.
An update on the status of the COVID-19 virus in the county. As of March 3rd, last Thursday afternoon, there were 5 new reported cases of the virus in the county. That's per Department of Health website, and a 7-day average of just 2 new cases. The actual trend line for the virus is doing this. It's really steeply declining. As an example, on January 14th, there was a high of 45 cases, and then, I think I'm mistaken, on March 1st, there was a -1, so less than 1. So I think as with the country, the status of the virus is steadily improving, thank goodness. The general risk estimate, the Board of Equalization conducted an organizational meeting on February 24th. They elected officers and set their meeting calendar, which will begin on March 21st. And Gary Haynes from Wampler Haynes, the county's assessor, will be there available, I think, by Zoom to assist any questions the board may have. And just as a reminder, applications for appeals to the board are due not later than April 15th. Planning, the comprehensive plan project, as mentioned earlier, county and Berkeley group staff will conduct a project kickoff meeting via Zoom on March 14th with respect to smart scale applications to VDOT. Our staff is working with Thomas Jefferson Planning District staff and VDOT Lynchburg staff for potentially 3 projects. And we'll bring this back to the board between now and April 1st. One is the intersection improving at Route 29 in Calla Hill Drive, the intersection there at Food Line. Another, which was applied for last year, or 2 years ago, is the roundabout at 6 and 151 in Martin Store, and then the intersection at 151 in Ten Bar Drive in Afton. Pre-applications to VDOT are due by April 1st. Then VDOT will screen those applications, and final applications, I think, are due either in late July or in August. Region 2000 Service Authority, a hearing on the excess revenue issue was conducted on February 25th at the Campbell County Circuit Court. The court's decision is anticipated the week of March 14th. New county office building, county staff has issued an RFP for architectural services for the design and construction of the new county office building. That will include departments of social services, building official, and planning and zoning. The deadline for receipt of proposals from architectural firms is March 25th at 2. County River Water and Sewer System, we've made extensive efforts to restore pump number 1 at the Simcoe pump station on Route 56, but those efforts to date have failed. So we're actually in the process of securing proposal. FY 22-23 budget, as we'll discuss later, staff is proposing to have a work session this coming Thursday. One of the really essential things the board will need to decide is what to do with the real estate tax rate. If the board decides to keep more than 1% based on the 22 general reassessment, you'll have to make that decision almost immediately to enable the public notice requirements, tax tickets, etc., and even the budget to be approved on time.
When would we know how much revenue we will expect?
Thursday, if you have a continued meeting, we're ready to make that presentation on next year's budget.
So we'll know in relationship to this year what percentage more we have
Well, you get a general overlook of recurring and non-recurring. So staff will update us on the current status of our stuff the first meeting.
We'll also advise the board on what the general reassessment will actually yield in total new revenue.
Right.
As my report indicates, what you'll see if you meet on Thursday, is that we're proposing to no net increase in the real estate tax rate, to actually reduce the rate to equalize the rate based on the general reassessment.
And what do we have, and how much time do we have in order to set what that rate is?
I think not later than the next week.
We have to decide what the tax rate will be no later than next week. We don't even know what our budget is.
March 17th, by March 17th.
March 17th is the tax rate. Yeah.
We don't even know what the budget is yet.
We'll see if Thursday, I think it'll be easy to decide once you see everything, or easier to decide.
We might have some meetings 7 days in a row, Skip.
I'm ready.
So we have a week after Thursday's meeting to make that final decision if we don't make it on Thursday.
Correct.
Yeah, the notice requirements for the general reassessment, particularly if the board decides to retain more than 101% of the revenue.
But see, I'm confused. We don't know how much we're spending. How we,
Well, we're going to present the
You're going to
budget
find out on Thursday.
and you'll see all of that.
On Thursday, Skip.
but we haven't, I'll see all of it.
Yes.
We plan to make a general presentation, give the board detailed
So
information.
capital money is separate from this, or let's say we're gonna make some big purchase.
Skip, I would say for Thursday, I think a lot of your questions will be hit on that. Like that's when we're going to talk about all of it. A good chunk of
The budget anticipates significant capital
Yeah.
improvements.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it's got it in there. Usually that's what goes through.
I sent the board a snapshot last week just to get you
Yeah.
sort of ready for work sessions.
Right.
I think you'll be favorably inclined once you see everything. Questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, I have one. The comp plan rollout Zoom meeting, what time is the?
Emily, question.
10 o'clock.
Can you let me know?
Mhm.
Any other questions for Mr. Carter? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Board reports. Skip?
No.
All right, Mr. Harvey?
No.
Mr. Reed?
I have a report that's from the Service Authority. After years and years of laboring and budgets and COVID and everything else, the Service Authority is finally going to do a groundbreaking on the new Wintergreen wastewater treatment plant. There's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony this Friday, 11 o'clock, at the current water treatment plant. It's a big deal. Clearly, the biggest ticket item that the Service Authority has to deal with is the Wintergreen sewer and water. And so it's been a long time in the making. It's going to be state of the art. It's going to be a wonderful thing for the mountain community, and we're all eagerly looking forward to putting a shovel in the ground on this project. Let everybody know.
Excellent, I'll be there. All right, Mr. Parr? All right. I don't have anything of significance yet. We'll touch on it after stuff, closed sessions. Appointments. Ms. Spivey, is there anybody we need to, doesn't look like we got opening at MACA.
Yes, opening is ACA, I think, we had one email today, somebody interested, have not gotten an application, but may have a little traction on that. So hopefully we'll have somebody next month.
Okay, great.
And that's all for now. We don't have any vacancies to consider until June.
Okay, could you send the details on the MACA board so that I can provide to the constituents?
Sure.
Be great. All right, hearing nothing of that, correspondence, Mr. Barton.
Nope.
Mr. Harvey. Mr. Reed.
Nope.
Mr. Parr.
I don't know if this is correspondence what, but it was a correspondence to me. So do we have any update on Firefly? What's going on construction wise?
They gave us an update last, I think it was in December or November,
December, January.
something like that.
We actually discussed that this morning, just briefly touched on it. I mean, the authority's next meeting is July. We can ask them for a status, of course.
Yeah, ask Mr. Wood to come to our April meeting.
I think given what we've done recently and the timeline that we're working on, I mean, we're in the short rows on this, and I think it would be nice if we could get an update at each meeting, or at least every other meeting. I think it would be nice for us, because they're looking at, we said December, so I'd like to hear. And plus, I'm sure they're doing a lot of work in back road areas that isn't as visible to the community. So a lot of people think outside, out of mind, and that they're not working, but I know they're doing things in other parts of the community. So
Right.
I would like to hear an update from them.
They're also doing a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, but we didn't pay them for the other stuff.
Well, I know that, but we're getting cut back because
Well,
a lot of that is
Nice.
time consuming.
Right. Well, I understand. I've got lines laying on the ground
Yeah.
at my house where VDOT cut the line and they did a quick splice
that's
and
great.
it's laying on top of the ground, but they haven't had time, because they're so busy, they haven't had time to come back and bury that again.
Right. If staff could get a quick inquiry from Mr. Wood, our Creek Warren, that would be great. In the interim, but invite him to our April meeting. Is that okay, Mr. Parr?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, correspondence. All the correspondence I got was about the special use permit this week, so go with that. Moving on into directives. And there'll be opportunity for other business after our closed sessions too. I'll make sure that's available. Any directives at this moment?
I have one. We had the intention of setting a joint meeting with the school board and the board of supervisors for the last 4 months. We were targeting next month to do that. Do we have a date yet?
I haven't heard anything from school.
Can we do a little poking and see if we can get a date that we can do it, since we're doing it next month, and it'll be what?
Last I had spoken, well, I guess you would have talked to Margaret. She said they weren't sure what their April was looking like.
We've been trying to get a 2x2 scheduled with them, much less a 4x4,
Yeah.
and that's been impossible to get a
Have you-
2x2. So I don't know. I mean, we definitely need to get something going, but it's been difficult to get commitment out of the school board for a 2x2.
Well, there's gonna be pretty quickly, they be needing something from us.
Yeah.
I think,
They better prioritize.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would really behoove us to follow through on what we've been trying to do now for a while. And get that inked in, because otherwise it'll be second week of April when we get together here again, and it'll be an opportunity lost.
I mean, I would easily say, Mr. Reed, it is not by we've tried.
Well,
Yeah.
as a directive, I'm saying, let's try to make that happen.
And let's have 2x2s and 1-on-1s. As often as we
My
can.
request is a joint meeting.
Sure.
They won't even respond to our questions. So, of course, we'll ask them.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Okay. Any other directives?
Yeah, I would like for us to maybe, now that the ink is drying on the budget and we're getting ready to go over numbers on Thursday, have we given any thought to, in years past or in this budget system, but something that we could do to give some personal property tax relief to our seniors? Something that we could do, whether it's one vehicle per household for age 65 and older, or something that we
have
could
done
do as a
that.
county to.
We've done that in the past.
We have?
Yeah.
What is the rules?
And there's also something in the works this year.
Candy, can you speak to it?
Oh, I was just gonna say, currently in place, there's an elderly and disabled tax relief program. I can't spout the details off right this minute, but, it is available.
Is that something that's automatic or
You have to
something
apply
that
for it.
you have
I
to
believe
apply
there's an
for?
application
Yes.
process.
Right.
You have to be income eligible.
I'd love to see it where we as a county just had it as a standard thing that, I don't think it would be fair to say, once you get 65, you don't have to pay personal property tax anymore. I mean, that's not realistic, especially when you have somebody that's got 5 cars in their driveway and someone else that has 1. I don't think it's necessarily fair.
Could be 30 or more percent of the population too.
Yeah, well, but if we could say, it's because the point is, so some of the lower income and fixed income individuals, that if we can throw out 1 vehicle per individual, if you're 65 and older, you don't have to pay
Yeah.
personal property tax or something.
Yeah, I agree. Being an elderly person. which
What?
I am,
I'm not
the
getting any
most
disagreement.
elderly person here. It would have to be
Disagree.
based, it would have to be based on need. Because in our country today, it's old people who are rich. Me and Tommy, we're really rich. We don't need any break,
No, you don't.
And so if we are gonna give a tax break, we have to target it to people who need it and not just general, just because you're old. Because old people are getting retirement, they're getting social security, they become a wealthier part of our society.
Maybe we could get Pam to come approach us, because is it Pam who orchestrates that? Yeah. Maybe we could get Pam to give thoughts of what other counties do, and maybe you could speak with her a little bit.
Across the board, just because you're old, I don't think that's a good
I
idea.
just would like us to look at.
No, I agree with what you're saying, because the people are in real need.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware of the.
Yeah.
If the board continues to Thursday, you'll see that we're proposing to lower the personal property tax. That would affect everybody.
Right.
And I think, I'll just suggest this, it would be much better to consider this for next year, just because we need to have a process.
Right.
Good point.
That's it. Thank you.
Good point. I have one more.
You're
Throw
right.
in. Is the county planning on doing any outreach to the 120 voters that are going to be relocated from the central district to the east? Are they-
Registrar
Registrar.
will do that.
Yeah. So is that something that they'll be doing soon, later, waiting until the next? I guess you don't know.
Amanda, do you remember what the timeline was?
Have to check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you find out? I've had a couple of requests to try to get that information so that,
I'm assuming something will be mailed.
Yeah. If you could correspond with Jackie, that'd be great.
thank you.
All right, are you done?
Yep.
Anybody else have any directives? We'll save the other business for the back end, if that's okay with the board. Moving into several closed sessions in a row.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is
I'd like to,
3.
I'd like to move that the Nelson County Board of Supervisors convene in closed session to discuss the following as permitted by Virginia Code Sections 2.2-3711. A1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body. A3, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. And A6, discussion or consideration of the investment of public funds where competition or bargaining is involved, or if made public initially, the financial interests of the government unit would be adversely affected.
Okay, and it will not necessarily be in that order. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Barton, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Ms. Spivey?
Mr. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Barton,
Yes.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford.
Yes. All right. We'll call y'all back in when we're ready.